sometimes that disruptive power is really unsettling. And they go back to families, and the family members haven't been on this process, and they see their loved one come back and they're like, oh, great, your depression has gone, but suddenly our relationship is changing and you want to do different things. So it can cause all sorts of difficult dynamics. I think in the Compass trial, they had a very high level of people feeling suicidal. And that is something really, really concerning. And I think that might be because, I mean, I don't know the details of that. I wasn't involved in that trial, but I think when people go to these incredibly deep places, it's like the analogy of the roots. When you're scrabbling around in the deep, deep roots, you find things that can be very painful to deal with. And one of the participants in the Imperial trial that I worked with, he had an experience. It's actually documented in a film that was made about it. He had the experience of, in his journey, in his trip, he felt like he was reliving being suffocated by his mother as an infant. And although the psilocybin experience helped his depression initially, and he had that lovely afterglow and he felt much better, 3 months later, when that started to fade again, he contacted me, I'd been his guide, and said, I'm incredibly preoccupied by this awful new knowledge. Was it real? Was it not real? What do I do? And so he's been on a journey of having lots of extra integration therapy, but I would say overall for him, was it positive? It helped, but it brought up a lot more stuff. It's opening Pandora's box sometimes. And what we don't have in our society are the structures and the lineage to deal with these things, because in the West, we kind of cut off our roots of a long-term lineage for these kind of healing methods. So if you think about it, like in the West, the ancient medicine women called witches were persecuted. We cut off the roots there. And then again in the 60s, the development of psychedelics, LSD in the lab, we criminalized it. So every time in the West that we've tried to develop a kind of a tradition, a lineage for these kind of methods, it's been uprooted and pulled out. Whereas in indigenous communities where those roots are really deep, they have those big, strong structures for dealing with these things. And so we are, in a way, we're kind of like, we don't have those strong roots. So there are going to be lots of problems and difficulties arising, and there are, not just in the terms of the therapeutic content, but in the ecosystem, therapeutic issues, all sorts of things happening that we don't have the infrastructure or the lineage to deal with very well at the moment.